Portal 2, the second in the Portal series. This was released in 2011 and made by Valve, the same people that created the Steam platform. And this was actually inspired by the popularity of the first game, I think. I think when they created such a simple little puzzle game, they did not expect it to become a big hit as it did, or something. So Steam basically focused on creating a second Portal game. Pardon my yawn there. And part of it, actually, they retconned the ending of Portal 2. Because in order to get Chell back, she escaped in the first game. So something happened that got her knocked out, pulled in. There's even a graphic comic to explain the difference and why Chell was put into this situation. And Ratman's decorations are, of course, all over the place. Well, at certain spots. However, as we start in, of course, the ruined Aperture Science. And we meet Wheatley. Brilliantly voiced by Stephen Merchant. He really brings the idiot to life. Well, that's part of the story. We find out that Wheatley was made to be the greatest idiot ever made. The dumbest of the dumb. The completely moronic entity. As a hopes of toning down GLaDOS's psychopathic, maybe, tendencies. Now, of course, the first goal in the game is getting out of collapsing sections. And eventually getting a portal gun. However, Wheatley ends up leading us to the realm of GLaDOS. Wheatley is scared, of course, that she's still active. She's not. I think he's a little surprised to find out that the person, of course, in order to get out, Wheatley, quote, accidentally activates her. Or reactivates her. And Wheatley is, of course, surprised that you are basically the one that destroyed GLaDOS in the first place. GLaDOS is, understandably pissed. And after, quote, chucking Wheatley, which he somehow manages to still survive, she puts Chell back through tests with the portal gun again. And eventually, Wheatley shows up, helps you escape, as well as preemptively counter GLaDOS's measures. And by doing this, I mean figuring out how to, quote, disable the neurotoxin from coming to her aid. And disabling, instead of getting functional turrets out there, we got malfunctioning ones. Doesn't quite eliminate all the functional ones, but it's enough to cause some problems. This time it is to switch modules. And of course, when the old module does not want to be switched, you have to get and switch it. And of course, you end up switching Wheatley with GLaDOS. And again, you are reminded that he is an idiot. He also patches GLaDOS to a potato, which that's got to be a very good or genetically enhanced potato, because she's running for a long time after being attached to the potato. But you get dumped down to Aperture Science, to the original Aperture Science. I mean, we're dating it back to the 1940s, 1950s. Where you were greeted by basically recordings of Cave Johnson and Caroline, who was his assistant. Cave Johnson is being voiced by the remarkable J.K. Simmons. I mean, he brought basically he brings a lot to the leader of Aperture Science. Cave Johnson sounds to be a bit of an ass, but yeah, you gotta love it with J.K. Simmons. And it's funny when you eventually find GLaDOS again as her potato. Um, she was nabbed by a bird, so she's got now a serious fear of birds. But you're also learning about some new things that they were getting at Aperture Science, like the portal paint, which was made from moon rocks, or something in the moon rocks. As well as reflective or repulsion gel and propulsion gel. Propulsion's the blue, and basically it acts as a way to speed you up. The repulsion gel is orange, and you literally rebound it off it like it was serious rubber. And of course, the white paint so you can put a portal on it with the moonrock stuff. So you're now working through tests involving these to not only, get through this, but Wheatley has somehow activated the self-destruct system. Or because of his idiocy, he doesn't know how to control things. He's also too dumb to realize that there is apparently an affliction to the AIs that they have to perpetually test. Of course, with human test subjects, you're bound to run out. However, if you have robots, which will help lead us into the next game, which leads into the multiplayer co-op mode, which I probably won't ever do. But you now have to get back up to Aperture Science with GLaDOS. And she's also learning a bit about herself because she is basically, towards the end of the recordings, as you get through that testing area, you learn that Cave Johnson was dying, but they were working on a method to, quote, put a human personality into a computer. Since Cave Johnson was not going to live long enough to get to it, Caroline was going to be used for it. So GLaDOS is Caroline, or in the computer imprint of Caroline, which you start getting a feel for when she responds into, along with the Caroline in the recordings. She sort of likes this Cave Johnson fellow, not necessarily recalling him. So throughout, once you get back to Aperture Science proper, Wheatley is trying to meet his fix. The problem is he's too dumb. He, of course, finds some testing modules that GLaDOS had set up ahead of time. Uh-oh. It's just like, if he's designing the testing modules, we have nothing to worry about. And then it's like, found some old testing modules. Ah, crap. I mean, GLaDOS is relying on Chell here to, quote, save the day. So I was like, oh, shit. And I'll admit, I had to, quote, look up a little for these. But eventually we make our way back to Wheatley. And so we are now at the same thing as before. But Wheatley has actually learned. And throughout the battle, I mean, you have to somehow reflect his shots back at him. And in the final moments, of course, the moon dust comes in important. And in an epic, I mean epic ending for this battle, you literally create the longest reaching portal out there, which will in turn pull Wheatley into space, you along with him, and GLaDOS actually saves your life. GLaDOS, of course, will then, wait until you recover with the new robots. I think they're called Atlas and Peabody. And she actually doesn't want to kill you now. She wants you gone. And I think this is like one of the most beautiful sections. At first, you're in front of a bunch of turrets, which then go into a performance of a beautiful song. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it is beautiful. And you are then, quote, ejected from the facility with a companion cube. And again, you see that the facility was underground. No getting pulled back into it unless they make a Portal 3 and they have to retcon the ending. But this was a great, great game. I enjoyed playing it. And I recommend it anybody, especially if you love puzzle games and a little bit of platforming. It's a fun game. It's a fun trip. Both of these games, both Portal and Portal 2, were fun games. But of course, I'm going to go a little bit more into that next week as I talk about the series as a whole. As always, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X Elsewhere, inviting you to subscribe to the channel and check things out next week. We'll be talking about the Portal series as a whole. Have fun, all. Bye.